In today's video, we're going to demonstrate what to do if you can't find a community. Sometimes you'll be searching for a community and just can't seem to find it in the database. So we're going to walk through a few options you have for diagnosing where that community is. First off, let's hop into our communities database. From here, the first step I would recommend taking is search for that community by name. It's worth noting that if you aren't completely sure about the spelling of the entire community name, you can just search by pieces of the name instead. In this case, if we're trying to find new test memory care community, we could just search for new test or even new and scroll down until we found it. As you'll notice, if we misspell anything, maybe we miss a space, that community will no longer show up. So sometimes it's best to just search by a smaller piece of the name rather than the full name. The next thing to check is that all of your filters are cleared. Perhaps we had been previously searching for communities and had filtered down the community type by assisted living. Now if we search for new test community, it doesn't show up. But that's because that new test community is a memory care facility rather than an assisted living facility. The way we would make sure that it can show up is by clearing all the filters. The quickest way to do this is simply to click this Clear All Filters button on the right. Now we can search from a clean slate. One other option is to reset the map view. Sometimes you might be searching for communities within a certain area of a map by zooming in and clicking Search this area. While that is a great way to find communities, sometimes that limits your communities and hides communities you might be trying to find. So if we search for new test community, it doesn't show up because that's not in the area that we're zoomed into. The way to address this is simply by clicking the X button next to Map View. Now, if we search again, we can see that new test memory care community shows up. That's because the map view has been reset and is no longer focused on a specific area. Finally, if you're struggling to find a community, there's a couple other reasons that could be as to why it's not showing up. First off, the community may be in another state or county that's not loaded into your database. You can always add a new community by clicking Add a New Community, or you can reach out to us at support@seniorplace.io to ask what regions are in your account. Another reason is that the community may not be licensed and thus isn't loaded in by SeniorPlace. SeniorPlace is able to acquire all of the licensed communities in the regions that you've asked for, but if a community isn't licensed, it won't be automatically included in your database. Again, you can always add that new community using the Add a New Community button, but it may not be in the system like you had thought it was initially.